सो हेलो व्हाट्सअप, कैसे हैं आप सब? हाँ जी मित्रों, क्या हाल चाल है आप सबके? गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड मॉर्निंग, गुड मॉर्निंग ऑल ऑफ यू। वेलकम वेलकम वेलकम, स्वागत है आप सबका टू द सीए फाइनल ऑडिट आरटीपी नवंबर 24 एग्जाम्स, ऑल द न्यू क्वेश्चंस। हाँ जी मित्रों, जल्दी से बता दें, क्या ऑडियो वीडियो सबको एकदम क्लियरली आ रही है? इज द ऑडियो वीडियो ऑल क्लियर टू ऑल ऑफ यू? यस सर, एकदम बढ़िया तरीके से हम तक आपकी आवाजें पहुंच रही हैं। मेक श्योर आप वीडियो पे अपनी अटेंडेंस लगाते चलें सर, वीडियो को लाइक करके, ताकि एकदम बढ़िया तरीके से सारे मजे आ जाएं। ऑल सेट? यस सर। जॉन, रांजीव, तृप्ति, प्रणव, आजना एस, रुचा, अक्षिता, वेरी वेरी गुड. So now what we are going to do, so now we are going to begin with the RTP. First of all, we are going to cover the MCQ case study. First of all, we are going to cover the MCQ case study. Acha, tell me one thing. What do you want to do? You want to read the case study first, or you want to go ahead with the questions? You want to read the case study first, or you want to go ahead with the questions? Sir, we will go directly to the questions. We will go directly to the questions, and whatever is relevant, we will cover from the case study. So first question says, in the given case, cyber attack, cyber attack encountered by the company is known as. So basically from the case study, now you have to identify the cyber attack. Can you see any cyber attack in this line? No sir, it is a top 1000 listed entity, no cyber attack. Now from this part, let's see. CFO of the company received a video call from the managing director. Managing director instructed him to transfer 90 lakhs to the bank account of another company, NXT Limited. When questioned by the CFO, managing director explained NXT's products are fast moving and contribute 30% to the company's revenue. Further, the amount of payment is within the limit and can be remitted without any further approval. Satisfied with the explanation, CFO made the transfer. At the end of the month, while preparing the BRS, that is the bank reconciliation statement, CFO realized 5 incremental payments of 90 lakhs have been made to NXT Limited, and these payments were unreconciled, and he does not have any corresponding entry in the books of account. So basically in the bank, entry is there but no entry in the books of account. CFO explained this to the managing director, because managing director only instructed him to transfer the funds. Yes or no? Yes sir. But these payments were unreconciled. So CFO explained to MD, reminding him about the video call on which the managing director instructed him for the payment. However, MD denied making the video call. MD denied making the video call. So sir, if the managing director did not make any video call, who made the video call? Some other person. Some other person made the video call. And sir, what is this thing called? What is this thing called? Is this called spoofing? Is it called denial of service attack? Is it a malware, or it is an identity based attack? So understand here, sir, whenever I say spoofing, what is a spoof? Sir, many people do the acting of Shah Rukh Khan. Kiran. So what they are trying to do? They are trying to enact Shah Rukh Khan. They are trying to spoof Shah Rukh Khan. So the right answer here should be spoofing only. Sir, why it is not a denial of service attack? Arey Baba, denial of service attack is something which happens on the website of ICI. Whenever the results come, all the users go to ICI website and start checking their results. So whenever many users go to a website and the website hangs, that is called denial of service attack. What is a malware? Sir, malware is a malicious software. You can say some virus is entering your computer software. Got it, sir. And last May, they are talking about identity based attack. Sir, listening to this name, it looks like identity based attack. So let's revise what was actually an identity based attack. See, identity based attack mein what happens? Let's say I have a ICICI bank. Yes, sir. I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I also have a Snapchat. All the accounts are having the same user ID and password. Now, if my user ID and password of Facebook gets leaked, can you log into my Instagram? Yes, sir. Can you log into my Snapchat? Yes, sir. Can you log into my ICICI ka bank account? Yes, sir. So when your login credentials gets compromised, that is identity based attack. So did the login credentials get compromised in this case? Everyone please give me the answer, yes or no. Let's see who all are listening properly. Did my login credentials get compromised? The answer is no. So who will get this right answer? Baba, who has studied properly. So that's why for digital auditing, my request to all of you, at least read through the concepts properly so that you can at least answer such types of MCQs in the paper. Deal done? Deal done, sir. Now let's move to question number 2. Engagement partner is confused as to whether audit report will be impacted by the cyber attack instance. What is the appropriate reporting implication? Now let's understand the reporting implication in this case. CFO and MD engaged a forensic expert who observed the company had a cyber attack. Investigation further revealed that the video call to the CFO was fake and made from the laptop not owned by the company. Hackers had gained access to the CFO's laptop and have obtained the bank details and its authorized information. Company filed a police complaint and reported the incident to authorities. Nothing in the reporting part here. Now let's see the next part. During the risk assessment process, auditor of the company determined that IT environment poses a significant risk. Acha, I am not reading further. You people tell me whenever there is an area of significant risk. ठीक है? And now let's say on the same area, auditor is making the inquiries with the risk management team and chief information officer to assess their cyber security risk. He also communicated with those charged with governance. So when I am communicating something with those charged with governance and that is forming part of my report, which para I am talking about? Remember with TCWG, we communicate all the significant matters. Now out of those significant matters, we report some most significant matters. Akshita, Ronita, Isha. Isha is giving wrong answer. Minal, Rohit, Manu, very, very good. Sir, out of the significant matters, the most significant matters that we report are key audit matter. And key audit matter ka 3 examples that we learned in the class were significant JRT. What was the significant JRT? Matters involving significant judgment, significant risk, and significant events and transactions that have occurred during the year. So the right answer in this case, Baba, should be no implication on the audit report, no. Qualify the audit opinion, no. Emphasis of matter para, no. Right answer will be key audit matter, as cyber incidents was of most significance in the audit of financial statement. Got it or not? Yes, sir. Now comes question number 3. Really classic question. Really classic question. Let's see what it says. This will give you something new. This will give you something new for your notes. Company wants to prepare a integrated report. Okay, sir. Contained in the International Integrated Reporting Council and endorsed by SEBI. Company secretary was of the view that integrated report is mandatory for a listed entity. Which of the following is correct? Which of the following is correct? So let's see what are the 4 points given here. Let's see. The view of company secretary is correct because company is meeting the qualifying threshold of top 1000 listed entity by market capitalization at the end of previous year. Second point says it is incorrect because it is voluntary for top 500 listed entity. Third point says it is correct as the company is meeting the qualifying threshold of top 1000 listed entity by market capitalization at the end of current year. And last point says incorrect because it is voluntary for top 1000 listed entity. Now you people tell me what should be the right answer. What do you think will be the right answer in this case? Vinay says B because he must have seen the back answer. B. Rajkumar says A. Tell me one thing. In the question, is it written BRSR report or it is written integrated report? Sir, the question is not talking about BRSR report. The question is talking about integrated report. So when I am talking about integrated report, see, BRSR report, it is mandatory for top 1000 listed entity. BRSR report is mandatory for top 1000 listed entity. So wherever it is written na top 1000, these points so you can easily cut. Got it, sir? This point. Yes. Now, when I say it is incorrect, now which is the answer to be chosen? The right answer is option number B. So, in your notes, wherever the integrated reporting part is given in emerging areas, just write there one thing: integrated reporting is voluntary for the top 500 listed entity. Got it? Understood or not? Yes, sir. So under the heading of integrated reporting, right there that it is voluntary for the top 500 listed entity. The same MCQ can also repeat in your exams. Got it? Got it, sir. Now everyone come to question number 4. This is one question I want all of you to do in one go. Okay, sir. Integrated reporting comprises of 6 categories of capital. Please tell me what were the 6 categories of capital? Shimna. What do you mean by Shimna? Sir, Shimna means social capital, human capital, intellectual capital, manufactured capital, natural capital, and financial capital. These were the 6 capitals we discussed. Yes, sir. Now from those 6 capital, you have to identify which capitals we are discussing here. Company observed that it has capitalized intangible assets and rooftop solar equipment in the balance sheet. In the integrated report, patents and solar equipment will be disclosed as. See, let's not talk about solar equipment. First, let's talk about the patent. If I am talking about patent, can I say patent is something which requires application of mind? So is it a social capital? No. Is it something which is related to employees, yani human capital? No. Is it intellectual capital? Answer is yes. So respectively, patent should be first of all intellectual capital. Now in other options, intellectual capital is not given first. So the right answer will be C. Now your question, sir, solar equipment gives us the feel of manufactured capital because it is a machinery which is helping us in production. But can I say solar equipment gets the resources from sunlight? It gets the resources from sunlight. So ICI has taken this assumption that since it gets its resources from sunlight, so the right answer will be natural capital. Got it? Got it or not? Yes, sir. So this is the assumption, Baba, that you need to consider in solving this part. Chalo, sir. Now let's move to question number 5. Can the auditor accept the system audit as offered by Comtech Limited? Let's see where they are offering him the system audit. Management of the company was impressed by the level of detail and diligence employed by the auditor while dealing with the cyber security incident. They particularly appreciated the in-depth knowledge, timely involvement of IT specialist by the auditor, and experience in dealing with cybersecurity incident. Management felt auditor will be the right fit for conducting the audit of IT systems. In order to leverage the auditor expertise, they proposed to engage the auditor to conduct a system audit. Everyone, please tell me what should be the right answer in this case. Tell me one thing. Can an auditor do a system audit? Answer is yes. But can he do the audit of financial information system? Answer is no, because financial information system will give you the financial statement and you will be auditing the financial statements only. So it will lead to a self-review threat. So let's see what will be the point here. First point says, yes, the auditor can accept the assignment of system audit provided it does not involve any scrutiny of financial data or information. Obviously, because if it will involve scrutiny of financial information, it will create a self-review threat. Now let's see point number B. Yes, statutory auditor can accept provided it involves scrutiny of financial data or information. No, otherwise self-review threat will occur. He can accept provided the fees is not more than the audit fees. That is not the point here. And last point says statutory auditor cannot accept the assignment of system audit since it did not involve scrutiny or review. The answer will be wrong. So the right answer will be A. Got it or not? Can anyone tell me the section of Companies Act which relates to this self-review threat, where we talk about various types of services, design, implementation and maintenance of financial information system? Tell me. Section number 144. Isha, I think, yeah, you are very right. Ki kahin na kahin C is also can be a prospective answer. But do you remember one thing, sir? What? You are saying na C can be the answer. I am giving you the answer. If you go through chapter number 9 of your Council General Guidelines, it said that the audit fee, when a person will be guilty, a CA in practice will be guilty if the non-audit fees, if the non-audit fees is more than the audit fees. This is what you are saying? Yes, sir. Acha, but tell me, whenever I am saying non-audit service, does it include a certification service? Does it include any certification service? Please tell me yes or no. The answer is no. So that's why C is not the right answer. That's why C is not the right answer, because this is also audit or certification service. That is also audit or certification service. So this provision will not apply in this case. You got the point or not, Isha? Yes, sir. Chalo. Now let's move to question number 6. Your case study based MCQ is done. I hope you enjoyed this MCQ. Now let's talk about CA Vijay. A qualified CA in November 22 started his professional practice in Delhi. Since he has enough time to devote on other activities, considering 4 options. Part-time tutorship under the coaching organization of institute. Is it allowed? Yes, sir. Editorship of journals other than professional journal. Oh, sir, this was not allowed. Acting as a recovery consultant in banking sector. This was allowed. Owning agricultural land and carrying agricultural activity is also allowed. So only for one activity, he needs a specific and prior approval, that is editorship of journals other than professional journal. So first point says specific and prior permission is required for editorship of journals other than professional journals. This will become your right answer. Got it? Got it, sir. All other points are wrong. Now comes question 7. CARK, the auditor of Shipra Limited, resigned from the post due to some personal reason. SP was appointed as a subsequent auditor by the BOD. During the conclusion of audit, SP mentions about RK's resignation in the report. Which clause will get attracted here? Please tell me the right answer about CARO 2020. Whenever a previous auditor is resigning and a new auditor is getting appointed, which clause gets attracted? Sir, clause number 13, related party. 14, internal auditor caught it. 15, no cash was there. 16, we got the cash from RBI. 17, we suffered a cash loss. 18 was the resignation by the auditor. Because there was no cash, auditor resigned. So the right answer says, can SP mention RK's resignation? Answer is yes. Sir, in which clause? Clause number 18. Acha. Now, clause number 21 talks about what? Sir, it talks about consolidated financial statements. It talks about consolidated financial statements. So, the right answer will be C ka B. Got it or not? Yes, sir. Now, last question, I think, of MCQs. CA Ram identified there was a misstatement last year and the same is still not corrected. Although an unmodified audit report was issued last year by CA Ram, guide CA Ram on the audit opinion considering the fact that last year misstatement has been identified and unmodified opinion was issued in the last year. Please tell me what will happen in this case. First option, as per SA 710, give an unmodified opinion but include a other matter para. Ki last year there was a misstatement. As per SA 710, take legal opinion. Have we discussed such type of things? The answer is no. As per 710, qualify the current year report with respect to the corresponding figures only. So this appears to be the right answer. Again gives an unmodified opinion. Answer is no. Now tell me one thing. What is the drafting error in this question by ICI? What is the drafting error in this question? Which can confuse some students, because point is you need to understand the feel of the examiner. What is the drafting error in the question? Tell me what is the issue with the question? Sir, instead of misstatement, it should have been material misstatement. Instead of misstatement, it should have been material misstatement, because as an auditor, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about a misstatement. I give a damn about material misstatement. I am only focused on material misstatement. So this is a big blunder in drafting the question, but this is something which you should be aware. Okay, in case the question gets repeated in exam. Got it or not? Yes, sir. Now let's move to the descriptive questions. Let's start with question number 1. Chalo. Everyone, please focus on question number 1. Let's enjoy this question. Very, very important question. Has been asked before also. Chalo. RPS Limited in its AGM appointed Mr. R, P and S as the joint auditor. Whenever Shubham sir says joint auditor, which SA field comes in our mind? SA 299. Got it, sir. For the valuation of newly constructed infrastructure project of the company, Mr. R, P and S decide to consult their own engineers. Now, whenever I am saying they are consulting their own engineers, now which essay is getting attracted? Sir, they are using a expert. Which expert? Auditor expert. So this is essay 620. Due to the difference of opinion, each joint auditor took advice from their engineer. As a result, significant discrepancies were found in the valuation report provided by engineer. However, Mr. R agreed with the report provided by Mr. P. So you can say Mr. P and R are together. While Mr. S did not agree. So can I say Mr. S is going different way? Mr. R argues that the report of Mr. P engineer should be included in the audit report due to majority of votes. Now Mr. S is in a dilemma. What should be the responsibility of the auditor if the report provided by Mr. P's engineer is later found to be faulty? Now tell me one thing. How do we need to write the answer? Do we need to write the answer now as per essay 299 or essay 620? Read the last line. Read the last line. You are asking responsibility of the auditor if the report of auditor expert is found to be faulty. So can I say the main focus is on responsibility of auditor related to auditor expert? Yes, sir. So when the question is asking responsibility in relation to auditor expert, essay 620 will get affected. Essay 620 will get impacted. See, many students are going wrong, sir. We can go to the direction of 299. That is very right. But when they are specifically asking with respect to auditor expert, you have to go in the direction of essay 620. This is how you need to interpret this question. Now, sir, how do you need to start your answer? First of all, quote the essay 620. Then say that for variety of works, you can use the work of auditor expert. So this can be used in the valuation of assets like complex financial instrument, land building, PPE, plant and machinery. Then what do you call them? Very precious things like jewelry, art, antiques, intangible assets, and baki other assets and liabilities acquired in business combination. 3-4 examples you can give. But using the work of auditor expert, does it reduce the auditor responsibility? No, sir. Even if you are using the work of auditor expert, responsibility is not reduced. Again, you are sole responsibility for the audit opinion. Now tell me one thing. How do I evaluate the adequacy of expert work? Read these 3 lines and tell me, have we studied these 3 lines somewhere? That whenever you are using the data, you will check the CAR of data, completeness, accuracy, relevance. On the data, you apply the assumptions and methods. So you check the R&R, relevance and reasonableness. For the findings and conclusion, you check the relevance and reasonableness. Sir, these are the points of essay 500. These are the points of essay 500 when you are evaluating the work of management expert, when you are checking whether management expert's work is adequate to be used as audit evidence. So when these are the same points that you can use for auditor expert also, then you just need to write the facts of the case. Got it, sir? And last may just give a proper conclusion. Last may just give a proper conclusion that, sir, what? You should ensure these things, basically CAR of data, completeness, accuracy, relevance of data, relevance and reasonableness of assumptions and methods. Okay. Now, Mr. R and P will be held responsible for gross negligence and using a faulty report, and S will be free. S will be free. He will not be liable because he gave a separate opinion. Now, can you people tell me one thing? I am asking you a question on a different line. If a chartered accountant in practice is doing gross negligence, he or she will be guilty under which clause? Tell me one thing. Tell me. Clause 712. Clause 712 means failure to exercise. We should exercise 7 days a week. So if you don't exercise due diligence or grossly negligent in the conduct of duties, you will be guilty under 712. Got it or not? Yes, sir. Now let's move to question number 2. Everyone take 2 sips of water and type in the chat box. Ready. Only 3 or 4 new questions are left. Otherwise, all easy questions are there. Mudit and Associates has been appointed as statutory auditor of GRF Private Limited for the financial year 23-24. Company is into the business of health club, fitness center and gym costumes. Okay, sir. CAM is the engagement partner for the audit assignment and he observed the following points while auditing. Let's see what are the points he observed. Everyone please focus. Customer base is reducing continuously through the tough competition and discount war is existing. Payment of creditors are being delayed with overdue interest. Not being able to pay the salaries of the staff and trainers on time. Key financial ratios are in red and have deteriorated considerably. Company has requested the banker for additional working capital facilities, but the bankers are not considering the proposal favorably. You people tell me one thing. Is the company gone or the company can go bankrupt in the future? Is the company bankrupt right now or can the company go bankrupt in the future? You people tell me what is the case. Sir, the company can go bankrupt because if you see, are the customers gone? No, sir. The customers are reducing. Is the company not making the payment? No, sir. The payments are delayed. ठीक है. Plus the company has not been able to pay the salaries or trainers on time, so company might pay later. Key financial ratios are in red, plus they are asking for additional working capital. So can I say in present it is okay. In present it is okay, but if I see the future, sir, in future there is a tension. So whenever in future there is a tension, in near future there is a tension, we call it material uncertainty related to going concern. We call it material uncertainty related to going concern. So what audit procedures will be followed by the auditor considering the above circumstances as per SA 570? So 5 procedures that we study in SA 570 that you need to write. First of all, we will ask the management for doing the going concern assessment. So you just need to write the intro and say that as per SA 570, if the events or conditions are identified, you need to take evidence that whether or not the material uncertainty exists. If yes, then you can and how do you check material uncertainty? By performing additional procedure. So first of all, if the management has not done the going concern assessment, ask them to do it. Now when they come back after doing the going concern assessment, we will ask for the plan. And that plan should have 2 qualities. It should be feasible. It should improve the situation. It should be feasible. It should improve the situation. Acha, does the Verdi plan work for us or we need numbers? Sir, we need proper numbers. We need proper numbers. So we need the cash flow forecast of the entity. And whenever you are analyzing the cash flow forecast, you will see the data. And on the data, whatever assumptions and methods they have applied, you will check the same. So check the reliability of data and the support for assumption. Are these 3 points clear? Yes, sir. Now the going concern assumption was done at a point in time. After that point, there can be additional facts and information. There can be additional events which can affect the going concern. So ask the management about that. So in case there are any additional facts and information available since the date on which the management made the assessment, ask for that. And last May, management said about the plan that it is feasible, it will improve the situation. Take a written representation for the same. Take a written representation. So the last point says, we will request for written representation about the plan and its feasibility. Got it or not? Yes, sir. So these are the 5 procedures that you need to write. Now you can link these procedure with the question. Now you have to link these procedure with the question. For example, we will review the management's assessment. We will check the cash flow forecast and assumption. We will see the events after the reporting period. Whatever key financial ratios were bad, loan agreements were bad, we will check that. Review the company's efforts to secure additional financing from the bank, the impact of declining customer payments and delayed payments. Do we need to learn these points? No, sir. We just need to write it in our own words, taking the facts from the questions. And last May they have given one more point, sir. What? How should the auditor deal if the going concern is appropriate, but a material uncertainty exists and adequate disclosure is made? Everyone, please tell me in the chat box. We will give a qualified or adverse opinion. Write in the chat box. Sir, we will give a qualified or adverse opinion. No, sir. Now we have become smart. We will give a murg para. So basically what you need to do, you will give a unmodified opinion. Oh. And a separate section in the report called murg, material uncertainty related to going concern. What do we do through this para? We draw the attention of the users. We draw the attention of the users on the note which discloses the matter, and state that through the events and condition material uncertainty exists, but the audit opinion is not modified. Got it, sir. Now tell me one thing. Is this question something we have already covered in class? Please take 1 minute and quickly take a read through this question. I am sure all of you will be able to identify it. It's just that ICI has changed the framing of the question little bit. Which question and which essay will get attracted here? Which essay and which opinion will get attracted here? Lochan says disclaimer of opinion. Tell me one thing, if I talk about the debtors of the company, do I have sufficient and appropriate evidence? No, sir. Acha, debtors are a very small amount? No, sir. In the totality of 950 crores, debtors of 175 crores have an issue. Oh. Now, if I talk about inventories, 45% of the inventories के case में, what we are not able to do, sir, we are not able to do physical verification. For these debtors, no balance confirmation was available, ठीक है, by the audit team. Even for the provision, they have made the provision only for the debtors which are older than 6 months. Sorry, 36 months. What about the debtors which are older for 2 years? 1 year, no provision is created. So can I say for debtors and inventory together, we don't have sufficient and appropriate evidence? So can I say the impact is not restricted? The impact is not restricted on one item. It is pervasive. Sir, it is pervasive because it is affecting more than one item. So whenever, sir, what happens, you just need to write the facts of the case. Got it? And just say that the impact will be both material as well as pervasive. So you should give a disclaimer of opinion. Now the question comes, how do you draft a disclaimer of opinion? The answer is simple, sir. We don't give an opinion. We don't give an opinion, and this is what you need to write in exam. We don't express an opinion. Why do you don't express the opinion? Tell that also. Because of the significance of the matter. Because of the significance of the matter that we have described in basis for disclaimer of opinion section, we did not get sufficient and appropriate evidence. We did not get sufficient and appropriate evidence to provide a basis for the audit opinion. So this is how you need to write this answer for those who have given MTP1. For those who have given the MTP1 of November 24 exams, in your MTP1 also, there is a question which talks about disclaimer of opinion. So Baba, these drafting of opinions ke liye na at least practice 2 to 3 questions of each type of opinion. Be it a qualified opinion, be it adverse or disclaimer, at least practice 1 or 2 questions from your question bank before going for the exam. So only 3 keywords should be there in your answer. Don't express the opinion. Why? Because of the significance of the matter, we did not get sufficient and appropriate evidence. That's it. Now, sir, this basis of disclaimer is so big. How we will write so much? Please tell me what is the trick of writing a basis for disclaimer of section. Let's see who gets it right. We did not get balance confirmation. Provision for doubtful debts is inadequate. Inventory, no physical verification. No inventory count verified. Arey Baba, these are free K marks. These are your free K marks. These are nothing but the facts of the case. These are nothing but the facts of the case. So can I say these are free K marks? Yes, sir. So just go and collect them. Now come to chapter 4 RAIC. Chalo, let's see what this topic talks about. Amro Limited is a manufacturing and trading company. What do we do? Okay, let's focus on the good things. In order to review the internal controls, you visited the department and noticed 3 things. Let's focus on 3 things. You will get to learn a lot. Head of the procurement has complete control over purchasing, receiving the goods and approving the payments. His actions are not reviewed by any other person. When we studied the chapter of risk assessment, internal control, and I taught you the topic of internal check. Sir, let's revise it now. Then we will do this topic. मैंने कहा ठीक है, let's focus here. There were certain general conditions of internal check system that we studied in class. These were related to your job and controls. Come on. Job and controls. First point of job. Sir, in case of job, there should be segregation of duties. No single person should have complete control over an important aspect of entity's business. Got it, sir? Now, when the jobs are segregated, they should also be rotated. When the jobs are segregated, they should also be rotated. Yani the person should be shifted from one position to another without prior information. And last May, he should also be given leave once a year. At least once a year, he should be encouraged to go on leave. So 3 things related to job: segregation, rotation, go for a leave. Come on. Segregation, rotation, go for a leave. Then, sir, 3 types of controls we learned: accounting control, budgetary control, physical control. Accounting control is basically doing the physical inspection of the assets and checking with the accounts. Budgetary control is basically comparing the actual results with the budgets, and whenever wide deviations are found, they should be reconciled. Physical control is basically having Godrej locker for your cash. Sir, what did you say? Godrej locker for your cash, mechanical devices for storing the cash. Easy, sir. Now, when we are doing this question, everyone, please focus. Head of the procurement has complete control. Is it wrong? Yes, sir. No single person should have complete control. Second point. Company staff has been working in the same roles for over 5 years without any rotation. Sir, you just told us after the segregation, there should be also rotation. So finance manager, Mr. Sachin, has never had his duties rotated since the joining of company. Job rotation should be there. Store manager, Mr. Gupta ji, who is responsible for maintaining the inventory, also keeps the inventory records. Tell me one thing, which principle will get attracted here? Sir, segregation of duties. Segregation of duties mein 4 duties need to be segregated. Let me see if I am able to get that chart for you. Sir, see. In segregation of duties, these are the duties we learned should be segregated. First of all, if you want to purchase an inventory, authorizing person should be different. Execution person should be different, who is purchasing the inventory. Then it should be in the custody of a different person, and the records and documents should be maintained by a different person. So authorization, execution, custody, and last may records or documents. So now if you read the question, Tell me one thing. Can the person who is having the physical custody also maintain the records? Answer is no. This is not allowed. So these are the 3 points you need to highlight, that yes, in the given situation, general conditions of internal check are violated. Mr. Amit has complete control over procurement process, which is violating the principle of no single person should control any important aspect of business. Second point, there is a lack of staff rotation, because staffs are not rotated properly. And last point says Mr. Gupta is maintaining the inventory records, also having the custody. So again, violating the principle that one having the physical custody should not have access to the accounting records. Now, what are these points given? These are the same points that I discussed with you in this picture. These are the same points I discussed with you in this picture. Let's revise them last time. Job should be segregated, rotated, and people should be encouraged to go on leave once in a year. 3 points done? Yes, sir. Then just remember 3 types of control for general conditions of internal check system: accounting control, budgetary control, and physical control. Please tell me, is the chapter 4 ka question crystal clear to all of you? Quickly tell me. Done, 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 done. Awesome. Now let's move to question of bank audit. Now let's move to the question of bank audit. Let's see, sir, what are the question says. Your firm ABC Associates is appointed as a central statutory auditor of a nationalized bank. Bank follows the financial year as accounting year, and during the audit, CA Adi, the audit manager, has noticed the issues and placed the same before audit team. Got it, sir. They say that there is a consortium cash credit facility. Sir, what is a consortium cash credit facility? Just understand by this picture. Let's say there are 3 banks. Bank 1, Bank 2, and Bank 3. Now all of them have contributed. They have contributed to provide the advances to a single person. They are providing the advances to a single person. So when more than one bank collectively provide the funds to a single person, this is called consortium facility. In this consortium facility of 75 crore, bank's own share is 15 crore. So let's say this is our bank, and this bank has contributed 15 crore for this facility. Got it, sir? Debit towards the interest in the last 2 quarters is 2.25 crore. So can I say bank was expecting 2.25 crore to be recovered from the customer, but only 1.75 crore has been recovered. 1.75 crore has been recovered in the last 2 quarters. So what is the deficit? Sir, the deficit is 0.50 crore, and this is overdue. This is overdue for more than 90 days. Since it is 2 quarters, it is overdue for more than 90 days. Can you people tell me how it will be classified? Will you classify it as a standard asset or as a NPA? Tell me one thing. Sir, it should be classified as a NPA. It should be classified as a NPA because it has not been recovered. Now, sir, let's see what they are doing. Let's see what these badmash people are doing. Classification of the prime limited account, that is the borrower, ठीक है, based on lead bank certificate. Sir, who is the lead bank? Let's say this is the lead bank. So lead bank is whom? Sir, the lead bank is the person which has the highest share. The bank which has the highest share is called the lead bank. So lead bank has said that you should classify it as a performing account. Do you think this is right? Is it right? No, sir. This is not right. Whenever you are whenever the classification is happening, it should be based on the record of recovery, not on the basis of the certificate of the lead bank. So what you will write? Sir, we will write the facts of the case. We will write the facts of the case and write that sometimes several banks form a group that is called a consortium under the leadership of lead bank. ठीक है, फॉर मेकिंग द एडवांस टू अ लार्ज कस्टमर ऑन द सेम कंडीशंस एंड सिक्योरिटी विद प्रोपोर्शनल राइट्स. In such cases, classify the advance based on own experience of recovery and other factors. Since in the last 2 quarters no amount has been received, amount should be classified as a NPA. Tell me one thing. Did the question seem complicated in the first go? Answer is yes. But if I go by the basics of bank audit, wasn't it a very easy question? Again, the answer is yes. So that's all about it. Chapter 9 internal audit. Again, 2 direct questions have been asked by ICI, and let me tell you, either internal audit or SA 610, please expect one question in the exam, either from internal audit or SA 610. Let's see what does the question says. Rishi is appointed as an internal auditor while CA Nitin is the statutory auditor of SPOM Limited. During the review, Rishi notices several discrepancies in the disbursement records and suspects there might be weakness in the internal control. Additionally, there have been changes in the company's policy and Rishi is concerned about maintaining his independence because Rishi is the internal auditor and his objectivity. What are the responsibilities of the internal auditor with respect to accounting function and financial records? So sir, as an internal auditor, my only responsibility is to maintain adequate system of internal control. Now because they have written accounting function and financial record, I will mix that with it. So maintain an adequate system of internal control through continuous examination of accounting records and financial records. Okay? That's it. Now to maintain this adequate system of internal control, what did I tell you in the class? Sir, you told us that for maintaining this, we should be very careful. We should be very careful. We should operate independently of the accounting staff. We should not involve ourselves in any executive function. Plus, I told you, kisi ke dur, kisi ke paas. We should be near to someone and should be away from the someone. Sir, we should be away from accounting staff. We should be away from accounting staff. We should not involve ourselves in the executive function, but we should be near to the management. Associate closely with the management and keep your knowledge up to date. Whatever knowledge I am collecting, I should take that to the higher authorities. I should take that to the higher authorities. So observe the facts and situation and bring them to the notice of authorities who will otherwise be not aware of them. And last, may just conclude that the internal auditor must enjoy a independent status. Got it, boss? Got it, sir. Now the next question is related to your SA 610. Acha, for those who have not covered it yet, I have also uploaded a proper internal audit revision on the YouTube, in which the whole chapter has been covered in detail with the question. So yes, you can go and enjoy that. CA Nitin asked Rishi to provide direct assistance regarding the evaluation of going concern assumption. Can Nitin ask for direct assistance in this area? So everyone, please tell me, what are the 4 areas where I cannot take direct assistance? Sir, where the judgment is high, where the ROMUM is high. Where the judgment is high, where the ROMUM is high, the work that internal auditor has already done and the decisions that have to be taken by you as the external auditor. Now, what were the examples of significant judgment? Sir, for applying significant judgment, you need a lot of knowledge. How do I get the knowledge? Through sufficient degree. What do I mean by sufficient degree? Sufficiency of test performed. Come on. Sufficient degree means, let's connect all the points. Sufficient degree means sufficiency of test performed. Now let's move to degree. Degree means DI for disclosures in the financial statement. So if you want to check the adequacy of disclosure in financial statement, it is a matter of significant judgment. G for going concern assumption. If you want to evaluate the appropriateness of going concern assumption, again significant judgment is required. R for risk of material misstatement and E for significant accounting estimate. So whenever you need sufficient degree, those are the matters of significant judgment, and for those matters you cannot take direct assistance. So what will be the conclusion? CA Nitin cannot ask direct assistance from the internal auditor regarding the evaluation of appropriateness of going concern assumption. Clear, boss? Clear, sir. Just 2 more classic questions. Just 2 more classic questions and we will be done with the session. Let's move to chapter number 16, assurance engagement. Chalo. Take 2 sips of water and type in the chat box, ready. Mr. Vineet, an auditor has been approached by Cube Limited to examine prospective financial information. What factors, again a learning wala point, what factors will you consider before accepting the engagement to examine the prospective financial information? Till here, everything is properly done in the class. Now, sir, comes a googly part by ICI. Under what conditions should the auditor decline or withdraw from the engagement? ठीक है, this again point we will pick from these factors only. Second point, what steps will you taken to formalize the terms of engagement? This part is easy. Give the answer logically. How can I formalize the terms of engagement? Sir, through a written agreement. If you have a written agreement with the client, you formalize the terms of engagement. Nothing is oral. So now tell me, what were the factors do I need to consider before accepting the engagement? Sir, 5 factors we considered. First of all, whenever making a forecast, whenever we are making a forecast or a projection, how will the entity use it? How will the entity use it? That means the intended use of the information. Just go in the flow. Whether it is for one user or so many users, that means is it for limited distribution or general distribution? So these 2 points are connected with each other. Got it, sir? And then last में 3 points need to be covered. What are the assumptions? Best estimate assumptions, hypothetical assumptions, or both? So these are the things. Third thing, elements to be included in the information. What are the 3 elements which should form part of a forecast? Sir, bus, we know them. Bus, we know them. What were the 3 elements? Basis of the forecast, assumptions, and source data. And last may you talk about the period to be covered by the information, whether the forecast is for 1 year, 2 year, 5 years, 10 years. These are the points you need to cover. Now tell me one thing, how did we learn these points in the class? Very easy. Intended use, general or limited distribution. And just before signing the report, just before signing the engagement letter, what do we need? Sir, we need a pen. We need a pen. Pen means P for period covered, E for elements, and N for nature of the assumption. So these are the 5 points. Done. Last time, let's recall them properly. Intended use, general or limited distribution. Then you just need a pen to sign the agreement. What do you mean by pen? Period to be covered by the forecast, elements to be included in the, you can say, report, and last may nature of assumption, best estimate or hypothetical assumption. Now, sir, tell us one thing. When will you not accept such engagement? So can I say, tell me out of these 5 points, out of these 5 points, what can be the issue areas for you? Can period be a issue area? Sir, period can never be an issue area. Can elements be an issue area? No, elements to can easily be included. No one will have issue with the elements. But can I say assumptions be a issue wala area? Yes, sir. Assumptions can be a issue wala area. Plus, similarly, intended use can be a issue wala area because entity can misuse the report. Entity can misuse the report. So these are the 2 points you will say that whenever you feel the assumptions are unrealistic, or you feel that it will be inappropriate for intended use, these are the 2 reasons because of which you will not accept or withdraw from the engagement. You are applying the logic or not? Yes, sir. Plus, you can consider from whatever historical financial information you are going for the forecast. From whatever historical financial information you are moving to the forecast, can you rely on the historical financial or not? So this is one special point that you need to consider in this part. And last may, how can I formalize the terms of engagement? By simply sending an engagement letter. Tell me one thing, enjoyed or not? Easy? Easy, logical, comfortable? Yes, sir. Now let's move to our favorite chapter, digital audit. Take 2 sips of water and type in the chat box, ready. Chalo, let's move to chapter 17, digital audit. I don't want to read the whole question. Let's move to the last line. ठीक है, sir. Describe the key components benefits of IoT. What do you mean by IoT? IoT. No, sir, not IoT. IoT means Internet of Things. What are the risks associated with IoT implementation and the implication on the audit process? Plus, how should the company address these concerns for a smooth transition? So first of all, let's move to the notes. Let's move to the notes and let's understand what was IoT. So sir, IoT was the first thing that we studied in the topic of automated tools in audit. And in IoT, what were the examples that we considered? For example, in your home, you are having Google Home, OK Google, Alexa, play Diljit Dosanjh songs for me. Or you can say the payment collection devices. For example, you go to a shopkeeper, you make the payment by scanning the device that says, आपके Paytm पे this amount is received. So whatever these devices are, sir, these are what? These are your IoT devices. These are your IoT devices. IoT means the hardwares which are getting the information from the internet. Just give me a second. Mosji, yeah, which are getting the information from the internet. So these are the devices which are connected to the internet. Let's go in a very structured format. So IoT connects the device to the internet. So whenever it connects to the internet, what happens? Sir, they collect the data, they analyze the data, and there is a connectivity. Come on. They collect the data, they analyze the data through the connectivity. Once these basics are done, now tell me, how are they affecting the company? How are they affecting the company? That means it leads to some changes in the business model and affects the strategic objective of the organization. What do you mean, sir? Tell me one thing. When I am buying a Google Home, is it of any use if I am not having a YouTube Premium Music? No, sir. If you are not having YouTube Premium Music, company will not give you the music services. So yes, the business model of Google is now moving from search engine to such type of services. Plus, is it also affecting the strategic objective of organization? Yes, sir. They are providing you innovative solution. They are providing you innovative solutions. Is Facebook providing? No. Is Yahoo providing? No. But Google is providing. So how is it affecting the company? Changes the business model and strategic objective of the organization. And last May, not only it changes the business model, but also the risk profile of the entity. New types of risk come to the entity. For example, new laws and regulation. Now when Google is collecting my data, which laws will get attracted to it? For example, Information Technology Act 2000, Personal Data Protection Bill 2019. So this is how it can get affected. So just consider 4 points that you need to write for introduction of Internet of Things. First of all, sir, it is what? It is a device which is connected to the internet. It collects the data, analyzes the data through the connectivity. How is it affecting the entity? Sir, through the changes in the business model, and innovative solution is a strategic thing. So strategic objective of the organization. Got it. And last, what else is changing? Risk profile of the entity. So the risk profile changes. Example, new laws and regulation. Is Internet of Things ka basics clear to all of you? Yes, sir. Now let's move to the audit implication. Risk we will cover later. First of all, let's focus on audit implication. What are the 3 types of procedure auditor is required to perform? Risk assessment procedure and further audit procedure. Further audit procedure means the test of control and substantive audit procedure. The good news is no point of substantive audit procedure. Now, whenever I am saying risk assessment procedure, do I test anything or just have to take the understanding? Sir, we just have to take the understanding. Very good. So what will I understand? See, whenever I am going to a shop and making the payment on Paytm, is that a customer facing tool or a supplier facing tool? Sir, it is a customer facing tool. That's why you are able to make the payment. So how the consumer facing tools are connected to the business environment in new ways. So you need to understand how that Paytm wala device is connected to the entity's business environment. How does it impact the flow of transaction and leads to new type of risk? Okay? How the consumer facing tool is connected to the business environment, and whether it is connected to the business environment in new ways, it is impacting the flow of transaction, and last May, new risk are it is leading to new types of risk. For example, payment processing tools allow the user to pay via credit card. So can I say new path of incoming payments? Earlier they were collecting the payments by cash. Now there is a new path for incoming payment. So they have to rely on the service provider, for example, Paytm or BharatPe, whoever is collecting the money for the company. Is the first part clear to all of you? Yes, sir. Last time, consumer facing tools, they are connected to the business environment in new ways and leading to new types of risk. Example of payment collection tool. Now, sir, second thing is whenever new transactions are happening, how will I get affected as an auditor? When the volumes of transactions will be less or the volumes of transaction will be more? Sir, when the volumes of transaction will be more. If the volume of transaction are very less, I will not even give a damn and I will ignore it. So next thing that you need to consider here is volume of transaction and the controls related to it. Last time, just tell me, are these 2 points clear? Yes, sir. First thing, consumer facing tools impact the entity in new ways and leads to new types of risk. This just give the example of payment collection tool. Now, when will I get affected by this new type of transaction? When the volume of activity will be high. So the second thing that you need to understand here is the volume of activity and the related controls. Once you have understood the related controls, what is the second step? Test of controls. Which controls will you test? Manual controls or automated control? Tell me this thing. Let's see who gets it right. Let's go very logically. Manual control or automated control? Manual control, automated control. Manual, automated, which control? Sir, automated control. Mitisha is... What are you saying, Mitisha? How can you say manual control? When everything is automated, how can you test the manual control? What will the man do here? Dance like a monkey? No, sir. What will the manual control do here? We will have to focus on the entities. Automated control. So we cannot rely on the manual control. So we will have to increase our scope of testing, scope in new systems in the audit. Now as a chartered accountant, do you know how to audit the systems of the entity? No, sir. So you will have to train and upskill your auditors. Arey, we don't know na how to do the audit of systems. Yes, sir. So we will have to get the training done. We will have to get the upskilling done. Now tell me one thing. Is digital audit actually to be crammed? No, sir. Just go in a proper flow. Just go in a proper flow and things will be crystal clear in your mind. Got it or not? Yes, sir. So last time, consumer facing tools, new types of transaction leading to new types of risk. Got it or not? Yes, sir. Then just give an example of payment processing tools. Awesome, sir. Now, whenever these new types of transactions are happening, when I am getting affected, when the volume is high. So consider the volume of transaction and controls. Which controls? Automated control. So unable to rely on manual control, increase your scope of systems. And how can I scope in new systems in the audit? How can I audit them? Sir, we can't audit. So Baba, train yourself. Do the training and upskilling of the auditors. Got it or not? Yes, sir. Now, sir, auditor part is done. Auditor part is done. Now let's focus on the risk. So what are the various types of risk associated with it? There is a denial of service attack that we read in the various types of problems in the digital audit. Then, sir, the device can be theft. That Paytm machine anyone can take away. There can be a device hijacking also. Someone can get control over your Paytm device. Or there can be data siphoning. Sir, what is data siphoning? Basically stealing of data. Or there can be data breach. All are similar points. So, sir, how will you remember all these points? The answer is very simple. I went to have a dosa. Say with me. I went to have a dosa and tried to make the payment through Paytm. But someone actually stole the device and data. Someone actually stole the device and data. So, sir, dosa means denial of service attack. Very simple short form. And someone stole the device and data. Stole the device and data means device hijacking or device theft. Easy, sir. Data stealing is called data siphoning. Say with me. Data siphoning. Okay, sir. And data breach. Got it, sir. So the deal done. Now you can read the ICI ka answer. Internet of Things is a concept of connecting the device to the internet. It not only changes the business model, but also the strategic objective in the form of innovative solution. The risk profile changes because of the exposure to new laws and regulation. This is the point. Any 1 or 2 examples you can write from here. Now, sir, what were the common risks? The first risk was I went to have a dosa. Dosa means denial of service attack. What were the two things which were stolen? Sir, Paytm ka device and data. So device and data point was device hijacking and device theft. Where are the point? Device hijacking, device theft. Data stolen means data breaches, data siphoning, common risk done. Now what were the audit implications? Risk assessment procedure. You try to understand. You try to understand the consumer facing tools which connect to the business environment in new ways, leading to new type of transactions and introducing new risk for the management. Example, payment processing tools, this example that you can give. And last May, when are we affected as an auditor? Sir, when there is a volume of transaction. So we need to consider the volume and the controls related to it. Once you have considered the controls, test the control as an auditor. Which control? Manual or automated? Sir, automated. So you cannot rely on the manual control. You need to increase your scope. You need to scope in new systems. So there is the need to scope in new systems in the audit. For that, you need to train and upskill the auditors. Got it or not? Yes, sir. Now everyone is happy. Now everyone is happy. Sir, why? Because now we are just left with your favorite chapter questions, professional ethics. Get ready, everyone. Now, sir, professional ethics ka only 2 questions are in your RTP plus few additional questions I have added here for practice from your ICAI ka study material. Some hidden questions, some questions which are hidden as examples, illustrations. These additional questions also will be covering in this session. Just need 10 minutes of yours and all the questions will be crystal clear to all of you. Please focus here. CA Vayu is the auditor of Viva Limited, having a turnover of more than 200 crore. The audit fees for the year is 80 lakhs. During the year, company also offers assignment to represent before the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal for 1.75 crore. What was the audit fees? Sir, 80 lakhs. And if I talk to you about the non-audit fees, if I talk to you about the non-audit fees, sir, that is 1.75 crore. Is it greater than the audit fees? Please tell me in the chat box. This PDF will be available on Telegram channel. Don't worry. Rucha, Ronita, Lochan, Sneha, Kanaya, Naveen. Very wrong. Very wrong. Sir, why very wrong? Sir, why very wrong? How can you say that we are very wrong? Please open your notes of professional ethics. Please open your notes of professional ethics and come to chapter number 9 of your Council General Guidelines. Chapter 9 says CA shall not accept the appointment as a statutory auditor of the big companies called like PSU, government, listed or other public companies having a turnover of 50 crore or more. Got it, sir? Where he is accepting any other work or assignment where the remuneration exceeds the audit fees. Now tell me one thing, does this other work include any other audit? No, sir. Does it include any certification work or does it include a representation before authority? No, sir. So now if I see the RTP ka part, it is saying representation before Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. So Baba, this is not a part of your other work now. This is not a part of your other work. So when this is not a part of your other work, will the CA be guilty? The answer is no, it is not a misconduct. So how do you need to write your answer as per Council General Guideline 2008? Under chapter 9, just write the name of the companies, first the field of the government. Field of the government is there in which companies? PSU, government companies, then big companies. Big companies like listed company or other public companies having a turnover of 50 crore or more. Like in our question, the company had a turnover of more than 200 crore. So it says if you take any other work and that fees exceeds the fees of statutory audit, you will be guilty. Now, Baba, just relate it with the facts of the case and see why you is not guilty or it is not a misconduct. Good question. Yes, sir. Now let's move to question number 2. Sanjeev and Associates, a firm of CAs, responded to a tender from PF office Chembur for filing quarterly ETDS returns. What were the terms of tender? Understand now? Earnest money deposit of 7,500, can it be given? Yes, sir. This tender is open for all categories. So can I apply? Yes, sir. Maximum fees of 7,500 per quarter. Sir, you taught us that in this case, minimum fees should be there. See, Rajkumar says minimum fees. But sir also taught that minimum fees wala provision is only applicable when it is open. Only and only for the services which are exclusive for CAs. Oh. So when it is open for all the categories, can I say ICI is doing this time pass just to confuse you? And many of you got confused. Good morning, Ananya. So Baba, don't get confused. You are Shubham sir students. You can't get confused. ठीक है? So when it is open for all category, this point has no relevance. It has zero relevance. Got it? Got it, sir. So how do we need to write the answer as per clause 6? A CA in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he, as for 6, as for solicit client or professional work directly or indirectly through CAPI. CAPI means circular, advertisement, personal communication or interview or by any other means. Then you will write a proviso that as a CA, I can do sadi. Sadi ke phone sa. Sir, what do you mean by sadi? Sadi means securing, applying, requesting or invite professional work from another CA in practice. Or you can respond to the tenders or inquiries for professional work. But remember, don't respond to any tender that is exclusively for CAs unless minimum fee is prescribed. In the given case, it is open for all, so you can respond to the same. Lovely question, sir. Now let's move to some additional PE questions for your practice. First of all, question number 1. Very, very easy questions, but I still feel that you should practice these questions. Mr. A chartered accountant, agreed to select and recruit personnel, conduct the training programs for the client. Where did we study this provision? Sir, section 2, subsection 2, clause 4. A member deemed to be in practice. Council of ICI has passed a resolution permitting entire range of management consultancy and other service, which includes the same. So the person is not guilty. Now come to question number 2. We have done a classic question on this part, but still there is one more question. Let's do that too. Mr. Qureshi, a chartered accountant in practice, died in a road accident. Oh. His widow proposes to sell the practice. This is a sale of goodwill. This is a sale of goodwill. Acha, tell me one thing. Sale of goodwill should be completed in how many years from the death of proprietor? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years or 5 years? Let's see who gives the right answer. Sir, it should be completed within 1 year after the approval of ICAI. So she sold the practice for 5 lakhs. The price includes the right to use the name. Can the widow sell the practice? Yes. Which clause will get attracted? Clause 2, part 1 of your first schedule. So you will say that it is a goodwill of a proprietary concern which can be sold by legal here. Subject to certain condition. No need to write the conditions in the answer. Just say that it should be sold within 1 year of the death of proprietor by taking the permission of the council. So is the act of Mrs. Qureshi permissible? Yes. Can Mr. Pardesi practice in the name of Mr. Qureshi? Yes, he can practice because this is a sale of goodwill and this is valid. Awesome. Now come question number 3. Acha, tell me one thing. Again, one more question. If ICI is asking you any question which is related to visiting card, which is related to letterhead or which is related to signboard, which clause will get attracted? Professional documents wala. Which clause? 711. Awesome. Now read the question. Mr. B, a CA in practice, is a partner in 3 firms. While printing the personal letterhead, he gave the name of all the firms in which he is a partner. Can I write the name of the firms in my own letterhead? Obviously, sir, you can do that. So which clause? Clause 711. Again, it prohibits a person from advertising his services or advertising his firm or using any other designation apart from chartered accountant in the professional documents. Got it, sir. Then, sir, not permitted to... Acha, what is not permitted on the letterhead? To write the date of setting up the practice or establishment of firm. And we all know just for that extra knowledge, when it is about the website, you can write the year of establishment. You can write the year of establishment on the website. There it is allowed, but not allowed on the letterhead. So now you can write there is no prohibition on printing the names of the three firms. This is allowed. So the person is not guilty. Okay? Yes, sir. Now comes question number 4. Again, this is something which we have already discussed in detail, but let's practice. A CA has sent letters under certificate of posting to the previous auditor informing his appointment before the commencement of audit by him. Is certificate of posting enough? Is it a positive evidence of delivery? The answer is no. So, sir, if I talk about letters, what are the two options available? Sir, RPAD or by hand. Or you can do it by hand with a written acknowledgement. So whenever it is about letter, you can use registered post with acknowledgement registered post with acknowledgement due, or by hand delivery with a written acknowledgement. Okay, so write clause 8, then say as per the council letter of posting is not sufficient to establish the communication. Then just write the facts of the case and say you should use RPAD, registered post with acknowledgement due, or by hand delivery with a written acknowledgement as a positive evidence. Mr. W will be guilty. Got it? In extra, you can also talk about the email or UDEN wala points. I think just 3 more questions left. Focus on question number 5. YKS and company was appointed as the concurrent auditor of the bank. YKS used the influence to get a loan and then failed to repay the loan. Whenever a CA is using the influence to get the loan and then he also failed to repay the loan, what is this? Is it a professional misconduct related to client or employer, or it is a other misconduct? Sir, it is a other misconduct. It is an example of other misconduct. And if you go to the notes and see the examples of other misconduct, come now, let's see what are the examples given of other misconduct. Sir, these are the examples. In this example, you can see last point, CA adopted coercive methods on a bank to get a loan sanctioned. So whenever you are doing such hanky-panky things, clause 2, part 4 of the first schedule will get attracted, and this is what you need to write in the answer, that he shall be deemed to be guilty of other misconduct if he, in the opinion of counsel, bringing disrepute to the profession or the institute, whether or not the work is related to the professional work. Then what is the supporting line that you need to write here? Sir, as a CA in practice, or as a chartered accountant, you should maintain highest standards of integrity. Everyone do with me. Highest standards of integrity. Any deviation from the same will call for a disciplinary action. Then write the facts of the case and say that the person will be guilty. For safety, just for safety purpose, what are the extra points that we add here? Sir, we can add the point of section 21 plus part 3 of the second schedule and part 4 of the first schedule, because ICAI just takes whatever stand they want. Sometimes they just write section 21 part 3 part 4, and sometimes they quote the clause. Got it? Now comes question number 6. CAC, who has conducted the statutory audit of a daily newspaper, certified the circulation figures just on the basis of management information system report without examining the books of account. So whenever I talk about certificate of circulation, what are the 2 clauses that I have asked you to write in the exam? For certificate of circulation, what are the 2 clauses that are generally to be written in the exam? 7, and apart from 7, one more clause is there, because there is a question in your question bank. In that they have taken that other clause. 7 and 2 is always report on examination of financial statement. Very good, Shruti. Very good, Krishna. Very good, Swati. Very, very good, Rucha. Clause 7 and clause 8. So here again they have taken the clause 7. We can't do much about it. Either of the 2 you write, you get the right answer. So clause 7, part 1 of second schedule, does not exercise due diligence, grossly negligent. Then the facts of the case and what he should have done. This is the extra part that you should cover properly. So basically, whenever I am checking the certificate of circulation on the basis of MIS report, that means Management Information System report, that is not right. I should check how many copies were actually sold, how many newspapers were actually sold by the entity. So how can I check that? Sir, you can check the money that was received from the agents. Then whenever copies were returned, what was the credit you allowed to the agent? Then examine the books of accounts properly. It has written that they have not examined the books of accounts, so that should be done. So these 3 points, agents ke sath whatever collection you have done, the credit that I have allowed them for the returns, and last mein examine the books of accounts. Hence CAC is guilty. Now comes question number 7. Everyone focus. Mr. D, a practicing CA, did not complete his work. Again, one example discussed already in the notes. Did not complete the work on time and did not submit the audit report on time so that the company could comply with the statutory requirement. Which clause? Which clause whenever the CA is not doing the work properly? Sir, again, same clause 7. Did not exercise due diligence or grossly negligent in the conduct of duties. So just put clause 7. Then the supporting line, vital clause. Sir, vital clause wala line to was not there here. Every time you are writing clause 7, you are quoting this line. Okay? It is a vital clause which gets attracted whenever it is necessary to judge whether the accountant has honestly and reasonably discharged the duty. What does negligence cover? Error to fraud, collateral minor negligence to the frontiers of fraud. Then write the facts of the case and say that the person is guilty. All questions plus MCQs plus some additional questions of P for your practice. Everything done. Everything done in detail. I hope you really enjoyed this session. See, that is the benefit of doing a RTP. What does RTP means? Revision test paper. So I hope it was a good revision for all your concepts. Really good questions. This PDF will be available on the Telegram channel, Clear CA with Shubham Keswani. If you still did not like the video, do like it, and yes, stay subscribed to the channel for more such amazing sessions. Keep studying with happiness, because when we study with happiness, then only we progress. खुशी से पढ़ेंगे तभी आगे बढ़ेंगे. Keep going everyone. Have an awesome day.